Hello students, this is Professor McDermott with your video introduction to Module 3. Well, it gave me great pleasure to read over your discussions on the Cortez video. So here are some highlights. Everybody had the same questions, of course, so let's compare notes and see what you guys did with this. Group 1, under military advantages, and the answer posted by Chair Tracy, you had a very good response. More advanced weaponry made of steel and the use of gunpowder, swords, cannons, muskets, and crossbows. You also mentioned the horses and the bull mastiffs and the great psychological advantage that all of these advanced weapons technologies gave to Cortez. As far as communications, let's see here. Group 2, you brought this out very, very nicely. That Cortez was able to communicate with the Emperor Montezuma through two translators, Aguilar and Doña Marina. But the key factor is that Cortez controlled both of those translators. They were working for him. And as you correctly pointed out, that gave Cortez a tremendous advantage in terms of controlling the communications. Everybody talked about germ warfare. Group 1, I liked the fact that you emphasized that this was totally accidental. I mean, we really can't blame the Spaniards for this, even though it was a key factor in their victory. They had no idea what they were doing in bringing smallpox and other germs to America, but certainly had a huge impact. Forming alliances and religion, Group 3, I thought you brought this out very nicely. The advantage of religion in terms of not only the belief that Cortez might be the god Quetzalcoatl, but also the moral advantage for the Spaniards of the effort to try to stop the human sacrifices, which made the Spanish soldiers feel like they were doing something very worthwhile. And that this was really something that helped the Spaniards to form alliances with other Indian groups, which were really crucial, groups that were tired of being sacrificed. So thank you, Sandy, for posting that. I asked you also to try to come up with the one factor that your group thought was most significant. And thank you for struggling with this. I know it's a very difficult question, and there really wasn't one right answer. Actually, there was a lot of difference of opinion on this. The answers that Group 2 posted, William, thank you for posting those. You brought out very, very beautifully the importance of the alliances. Obviously, with somewhere between 500 and 600 Spanish soldiers, Cortez could never have conquered the Aztecs without the advantage of alliances. Group 3, you went with military technology as your top factor, and Group 1, you also mentioned the technology, but you really emphasized communication, and I'm glad you did that. It's easy to overlook this as a factor, but actually a very great historian named Tzvetan Todorov wrote a famous book called The Conquest of America, in which he argued that Cortez actually conquered the Aztecs using language. So I'm really glad that you guys hit on that aspect of it as well. And I want to say great job, everyone. Thank you, chairs, but really nice job, everybody. I'm glad that you've really gotten the swing and the spirit of these discussions, and I continue to look forward to the rest of the term now and these very interesting discussions that have developed. All right, we have several announcements here that are very important. First of all, your article assignment is due the last day of the module. That will be Sunday, September the 18th at 11:59 p.m. Now, this is really going to be the first stage of a three-part assignment. And your ultimate goal is to really become an expert on one of our primary source documents for the course. But first, in order to do that, I'm asking you to pick the author out of all the authors that I listed on the instructions that interests you most at this point, and to find an article about that person and make that the basis of this first assignment, a one-paragraph summary with the citation for your Galileo article. So in order to do this, obviously, you need to read carefully the instructions for your 3 written assignments, which are posted in Module 2. Also, please review the PowerPoint, How to Find and Cite Articles in Galileo. This is very important. It's also posted in Module 2. And of course, I'm very happy to answer questions or offer assistance at any stage of this, this writing process throughout the term. Second, your first exam will be open September 16th through September 20th, but I hope you saw my email. D2L is having scheduled downtime starting at 10 p.m. on the 16th. So I would ask, if you're using ProctorU, please don't schedule an appointment between 8 p.m. on September 16th and 7 a.m. on September 17th. If you're planning to use the Darton College On-Campus Test Center, you must go there on Monday, September 19th or Tuesday, September 20th. If you're not planning to use the testing center, you have 2 other options, excuse me, ProctorU or obtaining an off-campus proctor through online services. And in either case, it's very important that you make arrangements for this as soon as possible. So please see the documents in the Start Here folder that give detailed instructions on how to use any of the 3 options. And let me know if you have any questions. The exam format, there'll be 15 multiple choice questions. There will be several short answer or fill in the blank questions and 1 essay question. You will have 2 hours for the exam. It should be ample time. I have posted a study guide in Module 2. This is in the form of a timeline. It contains all the important people, events, and many of the concepts you need to know in order to do well on this exam. Of course, you need to go over whatever notes you took on the video lectures. And for writing the essay, it's very helpful to review the documents that your group had. You're only responsible for those for your group, of course. But you can draw on those as evidence as you construct your exam essay. And finally, please watch the short video in Module 2 called How to Write a Good Exam Essay. This will give you some helpful advice, not only for the exam essay, but I think you'll also find very useful for your 3rd writing assignment, the final draft of the essay. Recognizing you have a lot to do in this module, we only have 2 discussion questions during Module 3. But they're going to be challenging because we're going to be dealing with the subject of slavery. All 3 groups' documents have to do with the slave trade, and these documents are very difficult to read. They describe horrible acts of inhuman cruelty that white Europeans inflicted on other human beings simply because they were African and vulnerable. But it's very important that we try to understand how the Europeans justified this to themselves. So I think Group 2 especially, I'm asking you to get into the minds of the Europeans as to why they felt that they were justified in enslaving Africans. And also we need to know the Africans' viewpoint as well. Why did many Africans participate in the slave trade? So we're going to look at every aspect of this so that we can understand completely this evil episode in human history. It'll be difficult, but I think you'll find it very rewarding. All right, well, that's it for this introduction. As we move onward, of course, know that I'm always here to help or answer questions. All right, good luck.